Welcome in to Sportsbook Review. My name is Christopher Giannini.
My name's Sam Walter.
And we are your new host for the 2021 college football show for Sportsbook Review. If you're here, we want to appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers before the season starts. I know the NFL guys are pushing real hard. I know the MLB guys are pushing real hard. And if we look a little different, I'm the same guy that's been here for a while. I have a new friend. His name is Sam. I've known Sam for, 3-4 years now. We've done some work together in the past. Sam is the host of another podcast. If you've heard Gary and I in the past refer to our friends from Northwestern, he is one of my friends from Northwestern. Sam, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get on with the show.
Yeah, Chris, happy to be here. Happy to be joining everyone here with that Sportsbook Review. Very excited for what we have planned for the 2021 season. I've been talking college football for over 10 years. I've got used to live in Las Vegas, so know my way around the sports book, and definitely excited to dive in. Definitely going to bring some different angles from up here in Big Ten country. I'm coming to you live from Chicago, Illinois, and got some Big Ten knowledge here to drop, and definitely excited to get things going, Chris. Can't wait.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get into it. Today's episode is going to be Heisman Trophy odds. Now, I've got a couple of Heisman Trophy guys that I like based on the odds. You've got a couple that you want to talk about. I want to get started on the guy that I like the least, but only because of his price. And I'll start my local state, the Magnolia State, Matt Corral at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is an absolute offensive genius. He puts up big numbers. And Matt Corral at plus 1,600 is a guy I don't love, but if I was going to take a lower priced guy, Matt Corral's the guy I'm taking a shot on. The path for him to get there is really hard, though. I think Ole Miss needs to be in the competition for the West. I don't know if they necessarily need to win the West. I do think they need to pull off a big win in Tuscaloosa. If Matt Corral's he's going to have a Heisman moment where everybody in the world is watching him when Ole Miss goes into Tuscaloosa this year. What do you think about that pick?
I mean, I think it's a long shot, and honestly, I don't know if 1,400 is enough for me to drop on Matt Corral, or 1,600, wherever you're finding it. The way I look at the Heisman is, over the past several years, the Heisman Trophy has gone to like the best player on the best team. Is it the way it has always been? No, but it's usually the best quarterback or running back. And last year, obviously, with the wide receiver getting the Heisman for the first time in many, many years. But most of the time, it's the quarterback. But you need to be playing for something late in November and early December. I just don't know if Ole Miss is going to be playing for something in late November, early December. You have a big Heisman moment early in the season that gets you noticed, but you got to have multiple games, especially later on in the season, that really are pushing you into the conversation for the college football playoff. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, when was the last time a Heisman Trophy winner either didn't play in the playoffs or wasn't anywhere close? It's been a long time. Yeah. So when I'm looking, I'll start off with a stay away. I mean, right now I'm seeing Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma at plus 350, which is, he seems to be the favorite. And Oklahoma definitely seems to be poised to win the Big 12. They are still in the Big 12 this year, at least. And, that's a whole other conversation to be had as we move forward, kind of what the move to the SEC means for Oklahoma and Texas and how that will play out. I think this year may make it tough for a guy like Spencer Rattler, especially at only plus 350. That's not good value. In the past several years, the Heisman Trophy has not been going to the favorite, at least at the beginning of the season. It's always someone like, I think back 2 years ago, Joe Burrow was not on anyone's Heisman Trophy list.
I don't even know that he was at option to bet on in any sports book.
No, I don't think so. And like he had a year for the ages, possibly one of the best years in college football history. Definitely in the conversation, and that propelled him to the Heisman. So, honestly, I think, as I'm looking through all of these different odds, I have a funny feeling the Heisman Trophy is going to someone who we're not thinking of right now.
Yeah, the rest of my names are pretty far down the list and a little bit out there.
Yeah, one guy I'm looking at, and this might be my Big Ten knowledge coming through, is Michael Penix from Indiana. This is a guy who had an amazing year last year, led Indiana to their best season in recent history. And I'm seeing them at plus 5,000, which is wonderful value, especially because if he's going to win, that means knocking off Ohio State and making it at least to the Big Ten title game. And if Indiana is making it to the Big Ten title game, they're square in the conversation for the playoff. And if that happens, it's because of Indiana's defense, and it's because Michael Penix led them there. So I think at plus 5,000, Michael Penix is a definite value play for me.
So I've got one question. Do you think at 11-1 with a loss to Ohio State, let's say it's a great game, they're in it all the way, he can still be in there? Because even at 11-1, there's a world where if the rest of the nation gets cannibalized, if they've got to win over Cincinnati, they've beaten Penn State and everybody else that they have to play throughout the Big Ten. Is there a world where they're going to be in the conversation for an at-large spot for the playoff? Can he win it with a loss to Ohio State, or do they have to get the overhump and beat Ohio State?
I think they have to make the Big Ten championship game because everyone is looking at games in December. Yep. Everyone is looking at games in late November. Those are the games that people are making their Heisman Trophy votes based on. So if you're not playing in the Big Ten championship game, I don't think you're going to get vote. I mean, you'll get some votes, but I don't think you're winning the Heisman if you're not at least playing in the Big Ten championship game. And you don't do that without beating Ohio State unless something really weird happens and Ohio State loses 2 or 3 other games in conference, which I just don't see happening.
Yeah, I can't see that either. I'm going to go your same route, but I get the benefit of not having to play Ohio State until the championship game. I like Graham Mertz at plus 3,300. The exact same reasons. If they go undefeated and make it to the Big Ten championship game, he's going to get the game. That extra game where everybody's going to be watching in December. He doesn't have to beat Ohio State. I do think if he beats Ohio State, if they go undefeated and he beats Ohio State and their offense looks anything close to like it looked against Michigan last year, anything close before the COVID bomb just destroyed them, I think he's going to be in the conversation, and I think it's going to be impossible to ignore him.
I see what you're saying. I disagree. I have yet to see, from watching Mertz last year, he played one amazing game against Illinois, a team that was just awful. And I didn't see him play a really, really good game the rest of the season. So I don't love the play, but I mean, the logic behind it, if Wisconsin does get, into the playoff, I think it's because their defense is going to be insane, and their running attack is going to be really, really, really good. I just don't know if Wisconsin's offense is explosive enough for Graham Mertz to kind of emerge from what might be a very crowded Heisman field. So not to poo-poo on your pick.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Give me another game. Give me another name you like.
Ooh,
and you give me your best bet if you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm kind of going back and forth here. I kind of like Brock Purdy.
Oh, come on. Okay. Tell me why. Go ahead. Give it to me.
Hear me out. I'm seeing him at plus 2,800, and Iowa State is in this situation in the Big 12. I don't know if you've heard, there's a little chaos going on in the Big 12. That's kind of forefront in everyone's imaginations. And I think that Oklahoma and Texas are going to get, not that they weren't already getting everyone's best shot, but like people are going to be, they got a chip out for Oklahoma and Texas.
Well, now Texas, I don't know. Listen, I'm not really worried about Texas.
Iowa
State's kind of had their number the last couple of years anyway. It's, can he beat the juggernaut? Can he beat this monster team that Oklahoma is bringing into this year?
And I think he can, honestly.
If he does, he will be in the Heisman Trophy.
And that's the thing. If he does, if Iowa State knocks off Oklahoma and is playing in the Big 12 championship game, Brock Purdy's absolutely in the conversation.
Yeah, no, he's going to be in there. I agree with that.
he may have to beat Oklahoma twice.
That's right. I was about to say, I think he's going to
just hand it to him.
Yeah. Oh, now if he beats him twice, you've at least taken out the favorite in Spencer Rattler. Okay.
Sure.
I think you've done that. I'm going to give you my pick. My favorite pick is a team that I think has a really good chance of going undefeated. They're going to play 3 major TV games this year. Give me my boy Desmond Ridder plus 3,300 for Cincinnati. Dark horse pick to make it to the playoffs. The first little engine that could that's going to get over that hump, because I think we're going to see a lot of chaos this year. Some teams being better than they were supposed to, and I think some of the big boys are all retooling. And if they all slip up a little bit here or there, I think there's going to be justification. You beat Notre Dame. You beat Indiana. You beat UCF. Those are going to be your 3 major TV games. There's no way he's not in the conversation. There's no way he's not at least getting invited to New York. We're talking about this here in August, the first week of August. I like Desmond Ridder at plus 3,300. That would be my favorite bet to make, strictly because of price and opportunity. The nation's going to be able to see him a few times, but all few of those times, he's going to impress, and he's going to be on your highlight reel all year long. Every game day is going to be talking about Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's a solid pick. My only concern is the one word that you used quite a bit in that sentence there, and that's if. There's just a lot of ifs around Cincinnati, and while they're absolutely the class of the American Conference for sure, I still think the juggernaut of the Power 5 is going to be enough to keep them out. But if you believe that Cincinnati is going to make that move, if you believe that Cincinnati will have the juice to win those big games and be there in the end in that playoff conversation, I think it's a great pick.
You got any other picks you like?
You know, I kind of like D'Eriq King.
Okay, I can see that.
It's not the greatest value at plus 1,400, but the ACC is Clemson and everyone else.
That's right.
And if the everyone else is a choice between North Carolina or Miami, which would be either Sam Howell or D'Eriq King.
Yeah, it's either Sam Howell or King. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, if Clemson's not going to win the ACC, it'll be either North Carolina or Miami. And I like the number I'm seeing for D'Eriq King plus 1,400 better than the number I like for Sam Howell at plus 1,000.
That's right.
So, getting a little bit more value. Miami, big question mark. I mean, they're such an all over the place program. If they can get it together this year and D'Eriq King can come back from injury, he's poised to have a really, really big year.
Well, he's going to have a big opportunity. They get to open the season up against Alabama. Mm-hmm. And if he competes with Alabama, I don't know if he has to beat them, and he's in the game with Clemson, I think he's got to win one of those games, but maybe not. I mean, we've seen Heisman winners before not win at all, not be the biggest dog. They just have to be in the conversation.
But I agree.
They can't get housed by the big boys. So I've got 2 super dark horses, okay?
Sure.
I'm talking late picks. If real chaos ensues this year, which is what I hope for every year, by the way, being a fan of a non-big boy blue blood, my team's a big team, but they're not close to the blue bloods. I'm an LSU fan. You can see my boy Coach O right behind me. I like chaos. I think Gus Malzahn is going to come into UCF with a chip on his shoulder. I can get Dillon Gabriel at plus 6,600. And if they end up beating Cincinnati, going undefeated in the American, and making some noise, I don't think there's any way they would be allowed to be in the playoffs. But they're going to be in the conversation at least, and they're going to make some noise. Gus has put Heisman Trophy winners into New York before. Okay, and I think
I do not hate that pick. I like that a lot.
I love the 6,600. And my last pick, this is redemption for the greatest football player, not named Joe Burrow, that I've ever watched in my life, that didn't get the credit that he deserved and got kicked out of school for marijuana, which today we would all laugh at. Tyrann Mathieu got a complete rip job in his Heisman Trophy hopeful. There's a world where Derek Stingley's going to play both ways this year. He's going to play some on offense. He's going to play a lot on special teams, and he's going to be the best DB in the league. And Derek Stingley is going to get invited to New York. You can get him at plus 8,000. if you got me plus 8,000 in August with a guy that I believe is going to be sitting in a chair in New York, I think I might put a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean that's solid. It's
last year we went with a wide receiver. We never have gone with a wide receiver before. Why not continue the path of saying all these quarterbacks look the same? I'm going to give it to somebody who stands out at their position.
When was the last time we gave it to a defender?
Only once. I know. And that was a rip job, by the way. That was Peyton Manning. That is complete Big Ten bias. See, the SEC guy here is about to throw some shade on you. That is y'all's fault that happened.
Hey, I don't disagree. I thought Manning should have won the Heisman as well.
100% politics on that one, baby.
But, I mean, just I'm just trying to think of.
That's all hopeful. That's all hopeful. I want to hope.
How many times has a defender even been sitting in New York lately?
Very few. I'll tell you the last 2 times a defender has been sitting there, Ndamukong Suh, Tyrann Mathieu, I think both of them should have won, by the way. If you go back and look at those, Ndamukong Suh, Manti, I forgot Manti was there. I don't think Manti.
Teo finished second. No, he should not have been there.
Well, he should have been to New York. He shouldn't have won it. Not winning, it's okay. I do think Ndamukong was the most dominant player that year. Unblockable, unguardable, wrecked every play. Never seen a college football player do that from a defensive line perspective. And Tyrann, what he did that season, that one season, I've never seen anybody affect football the way he did.
Oh, it was amazing. Like and there's just no questioning how amazing of a talent Tyrann Mathieu.
Les Miles kicked this man out of the team for marijuana. I cannot sleep at night knowing that. I missed out on 2 more years, but anyway, neither here nor there. You got any super dark horses that you like, or are we good?
I think we're good because, honestly, I think the Heisman Trophy is coming from a guy who's not on the board right now.
Wow, so none of these guys. Can you think of a name not on this list that you might?
No, not off the top of my head.
I do love it when that happens, by the way.
Yeah, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see someone who's just not on the board, and maybe it's, one of the top players gets hurt and their backup comes in and just goes off. Well, I don't know. I haven't really put together the scenario on what it looks like, but I just have a hunch.
I don't think it's going to be a fake.
And if I could bet the field,
yeah,
I might. I haven't seen any numbers on the field at this point, but I might throw a few bucks on the field.
Yeah, I will tell you just a guy in the system. Every year I used to do this. It's never paid off in my life, but I'm a worshiper of Mike Leach and Mike Leach football. I just always want Mike Leach's quarterback and a little bit on it. He's not available in here. They're not 100% certain who's going to be the starter this year, but if for some reason Mississippi State does something insane, which nobody around here in SEC country believes, but ESPN in their power rankings had them number 8 in the country earlier. Everybody in the SEC is just like, wait a minute, and I worship at the feet of Mike Leach. I don't know where that's coming from, but if that's right, whoever's the trigger man for them, get that ticket as quickly as you can get it because it'll be the best. It'll go down in value, or it'll only go up in value. The price you're going to get is going to get worse and worse every week. So
sure, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's our Heisman vote. Fam, I'm so glad to be working with you this year. I'm excited for what the season's going to bring. College football is so close, we can taste it. It's August. We're ready to roll. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Check out SBR. Go to sportsbookreview.com. The best people in the world there for all of your gambling needs. If you want to find me outside of the podcast, you can find me on Twitter. My name is @ChrisB Giannini.
I'm at numtenor21, NUMBTENOR 21.
That a boy.
Longer story behind that. We'll save that for another show.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you guys. We're going to get out of here.